with the bicep tendonitis and the tricep tendonitis, the things that have worked for me that have helped is we have a few questions that I've taken some notes on here real quick, and they all relate to bicep, tricep, tendon, and elbow injuries. So basically, we're just going to call, elbow issues, bicep tendonitis, tricep tendonitis, all the way down into bone spurs, which I'm going to save for last. With injuries in general, when you're dealing with, let me step back. Obviously I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not, a doctor. I can only speak from what has worked for me in the past. And I've dealt with all these injuries except for the bone spurs. So with the bicep tendonitis and the tricep tendonitis, the things that have worked for me that have helped is you need to control the inflammation. So when it was flared up, and I actually offer different advice now that that I'm more screwed up than I was back then, is that you find some type of therapist that you're going to work with on a regular basis and stick with the same person for a long time. If it's weekly or every other week, I would just include it as this is one of your training sessions. You can't miss it. It has to be part of your regular training, and you go, every week, every other week. I mean, you can decide that based upon, what you can afford and, what's available and how much that the therapist really thinks that you need it. But I've heard, and it could also be a physical therapist. They're not all physical terrorists like people say. There's people who really know their shit and that can really help. The problem is, you go once when you're fucked up, maybe twice, you start to feel a little bit better, then you stop going. And then you never give the guy a chance to actually learn who you are and what your injuries are and what your injury history is and how you recover and how you don't really think of it this way. If you were to actually train somebody for powerlifting and they had 12 weeks, but they only showed up like twice over a whole 12-week period of time, how much you really think you're going to help them? It's kind of the same thing. So my first recommendation is try to find somebody, and I don't care if it's muscle activation therapy, if it's, sports massage, physical therapist. I mean, there's a host of different type of therapists out there that you can try and use. And I've heard success stories from every single type. So just pick one. If you don't like it, just because it's uncomfortable or you don't like the way it feels, find something else. And then when you find something that you like the way it feels, just stick with it, keep going. When it comes to the inflammation, I'm an ice guy. I'm in the minority now. Ice is bad, but if after you bench or after you squat, your bicep tendon feels like somebody just beat the shit out of it with a bat, I always would take a Dixie cup and freeze it and then peel the top off and then use the ice and just kind of ice massage the area for, until the cup, melted away. So 20, 30 minutes or so. And once again later that night, did that help fix it? Maybe, maybe not. It definitely helped make it feel better at that period of time. The thing that helped heal the tendon injuries, you got to remember when it's a tendon injury, you're going to be looking at more time because the blood flow to the tendons isn't as great as it is to the muscles. So it's going to take longer, but you also need to find exercises to be able to drive a ton of muscle into that, or a ton of blood into that area without actually pumping the crap out of the muscle. which is where a lot of the exercises that I'll speak about here in a minute can kind of come in with that. But with the bicep tendon, the biggest issue I had with that actually comes with the second question is, man, it was a pain in the ass to bench. You know, you'd go to lower it and your arms just kill you. No matter if you lower it fast, you lower it slow, it doesn't matter what you do. Elbow sleeves help a little bit, but really not a whole lot. I mean, it was just a freaking nightmare. When it got really, really bad, and the worst it ever was before I actually came to Westside. I had no other, I couldn't come up with any other solution except to bench immediately after I squatted. That way I would have longer, rest for it, and it helped. It helped a lot. It helped that area heal. And then I started to realize that it wasn't the bench that was causing the problem, which is what I thought it was. It was actually the squat. And when I moved my grip out and started wearing elbow sleeves when I squatted, the problem went away within a few weeks. So for me, that was the solution after fighting it for many, many years. And that's the bicep tendonitis. Now the tricep, that's a little trickier. That's a bitch, because that's another one that's always there. It always hurts. And for that, once again, I'd ice afterwards and try to figure out, you want to try to figure out what exercises is causing the problem. Just because it hurts during one exercise doesn't mean that that's the actual exercise causing the problem. It may be caused from a different exercise that you're doing. So, for instance, with the bicep and the squat, the biceps never really hurt when I was squatting, so I couldn't that's why I never kind of felt that. That's why it took so long to figure it out. With the triceps, in most cases, from what I've seen with myself, is it was always aggravated with some type of extension that was going too great of a range of motion with too heavy a weight. So I stopped doing extensions that went any higher than my nose. So most of them were kept at chin level or like a JM press. I quit all extensions that went behind my head, and that kind of helped alleviate and get rid of that problem as well. Some of the exercises that I found for tendons that helped me is anytime you can reverse band an exercise to where it's basically at zero, and I've written about this and spoke about this with pec injuries, doing the reverse band press with a strong band on a 7-foot rack with 135 is basically just zero. The band, it just kind of floats. If you can get it to where it's essentially at zero and do 100 reps continuous and try not to contract. Yes, I understand you will have to contract. I'm using it as a verbal cue to make it so you're not trying to be explosive, flexing too hard, or trying to squeeze at the top. You just want to kind of ride the movement, let the band do the work. That helped with my tendon issues more than anything. So the first thing is, what exercise can I find, for the triceps that didn't kill, and I could do 100 reps, but my triceps not get super pumped. For me, a band push down was great, but I really had to use a really, really, really light band. I like a micro mini, and just go through the motions. And as soon as I start to feel, or as soon as I would feel the muscle start burning, I stop and let go, and then would kind of shake it off until it went away, and then start going again, because the goal is not a muscle pump. The goal is just getting the repetitions on the tendon. The question about squatting, or with the elbow sleeves and the moving the grip out on the squatting for the bicep tendon, what else can you do to try to help the bench? I kind of covered that a little bit with the ice. You may have to move, as you said, you were doing, you may have to move the day that you're benching for a while. And move it for a while until it gets better, because it sounds like the way the question was worded, that you have had some success doing that, move it until you get that success, but don't be so quick to move it back to the way it used to be. Give it some more, give it longer to heal. Keep in mind it's a tendon. You know, it's gonna take longer. So if it takes you 4 weeks with having it moved on a different day, and then you'd move it back, take it to like 8, 12 weeks before you're gonna move it back. And then move it back and see what happens from there. With the bone spurs are a bitch. The only real cure to that is getting them taken out, which comes with its own risk, and there's only so many times they're gonna do that. The thing with the bone spurs is, on that, you want to make sure you do not do anything that hurts, because you want to get that bone spur to stop growing. And that's where, you know, speaking to a doctor would be a good idea, as well as, you know, the physical therapist. And so they could have ideas on that to be able to help you. Me personally, none of the medications did a damn thing, but getting it to shrink, I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's never worked for me. Is pretty rare. The getting it to not grow anymore is possible. You know, I've been able to keep my shoulder at bay for 10 years and it needs to be replaced, but I've had to change a lot of movements. I've had to change range of motion of movements. So in your case, and the way the question was written, you're talking about hypertrophy. So you're a bodybuilder is the way I'm taking that. So you don't have to bench press. You don't have to do any specific exercise. So find the exercises that don't hurt it, don't aggravate it, but still allow you to get a pump in the triceps. And if you got to chop the range of motion, you know, chop the range of motion. So for you, if a close grip bench press is the best tricep builder of all time, then, but it hurts, try doing the same thing off a 2-board, you know, or with a shoulder saver pad, or, you know, just a half press. Half press will probably hurt more, but, you know, off some type of, so it's a half range. Don't do it off pins, because the pins are going to beat the shit out of it. You probably already know that. That's because of the jarring and the rattling pressing from there. So on that, you want to work around it. You don't really want to force the range of motion. You want to go right to where it's comfortable and then right back out. I've been experimenting lately with some loaded stretching, and with the loaded stretching, you want to go just past what your typical range of motion would be, and then come back to where your normal range of motion would be, and then just hold it there. You know, for anybody like myself that's got, you know, joints that are just trashed, you know, a loaded stretch in the full stretch position is probably going to screw me up more than anything else. So you want to find that 3/4 position to be able to get the muscle just to release, because it's more of a neural thing that you're working with here than a muscular thing, to see how that goes.